bet you weren't expecting to see me. Well, guess what? My mommy loves me so much. She is making me and my brother and sister some really cool things. By the way, I'm Bella. Let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Welcome to my channel. I'm really excited you're here. If you're new, welcome, and if you're coming back, I love you guys so much. We're gonna get right into today's DIYs. Today's video is sponsored by Cricut. Cricut is a smart cutting machine that allows you to create personalized projects with hundreds of materials. It works with a software called DIYS that comes free with your machine. This is where you can create your project and browse from hundreds of images and fonts. Once you've created your design, DIYS will send it to your machine to cut. It is so simple and has literally made my life so much easier. Today I'll be using my Cricut Explore 3 machine, as well as stencil vinyl, smart permanent vinyl, and smart removable vinyl. I am also participating in a spring collaboration with these beautiful and talented DIYers, and I'll tell you more about that later. It's time to craft.
Does this mean she's actually going to take us for a walk?
For this project, I'm going to take these 2 little signs from the Dollar Tree. They usually have them all year and they say different things. I've got these 3 cute little doggy butts from IKEA. And first thing I'm going to do is remove the hanger in this one of the signs. I'm only going to need the one. And then I'm going to sand around the edges and just make sure everything is nice and smooth. And I'm going to use some E6000. I'm going to attach them together because I want this to look like 2 wood planks. I'm also going to add a little bit of hot glue so that I can keep working. I don't know about you guys, but springtime just makes me think of taking the dogs on a walk. And then I'm going to take my ink Waverly chalk paint. I'm going to paint the entire thing, front, sides, and edges all black. I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and I'm just going to put the white over the black. I want a little bit showing through because I think that's going to look really cool and distressed. I'm going to use my heat tool that I got from Amazon and I'm going to dry it so that I can go ahead and start sanding because I want to get rid of a little bit of the white just around the edges and just use a sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree. And with the black underneath, it just peeks through and it looks so cool. It's a technique that I really love. Not to mention that painting with the black first really covers up that paper that was on there. Now I'm going to take my polyacrylic protective finish and I'm just going to seal it. I'm going to take my 3 little doggy butts and I'm going to measure so I know where to put them. Now I'm going to open up DIYS on my cell phone and I'm going to be looking for a font. Now it's just kind of whatever I like. So when you go in there, there's hundreds of fonts. You can pick whatever you like. I chose BFC Rustic Cherry and I'm going to type out each of the names of my dogs. And then I already measured the little back of the doggy butt so I know how big I need them to be. So once I get each of the 3 names, then I'm going to drag from the corner of where my little word is and I'm going to size it because the little grid on there will allow me to size it and I'm going to save it just in case I mess up. And right now I'm just going to make them all the size that I need. You can also go into edit and actually type in the actual dimensions that you need. The next thing I'm going to do is highlight all 3 words and then I'm going to go down to actions and I'm going to choose group, attach, and weld to have it cut as one piece. I'm going to click make it. I'm going to say without a mat because it is smart vinyl. I'm going to choose my Explore 3 machine and then I'm going to choose my material, which is the smart removable vinyl. And now all that's left to do is load the machine. The machine is so easy to use. After you plug it in, you just press a button and it opens. And then you take your smart vinyl that does not require a mat and you line it up under the little guides and you press the button that's flashing and it will make sure you have enough material. Now, if you didn't have the right amount of material, it would tell you that and then you can make an adjustment. It'll start flashing again and it says go. And there it is, cutting. And I've also got the view of what you would see in DIYS showing in the upper right hand corner. When it's done, it starts flashing and then you just push the button to unload it. Now my piece needed to be cut into 3 pieces because I have the 3 dog names on there. I initially cut the excess with my Cricut cutter and now I'm using a scissors to cut the rest. And what I'm going to do is weed out the insides of the letters. So basically the parts that you don't want. I'm using my weeding tool. And once that's done, you can pull off the rest of it. You gotta be careful. You should burnish it across the top with the Cricut scraping tool. Make sure it's really sticking. And once all 3 of the names have been separated or weeded out, I'm going to take a little bit of transfer tape, put a piece the right size over each of the 3 words, and burnish those really well. And then I'm going to clean my little doggy butts with some rubbing alcohol to make sure that the vinyl will stick. And I'm kind of looking at it to make sure. And once I take the transfer tape off of the backing, because this is a rounded surface, I'm going to cut a little slit on the top and bottom of each of the letters, and that will make it easier to kind of mold around the little curved butt of the dog. as I put them on, you can see here, I'll start with the center, holding down the center, and then little by little, I'll go around the whole thing. And because I have those slits, it's going to go on nice and easy. And as you can see now, I'm removing the transfer tape, and there it is, my dog name. And I'm going to do the same for all three. And aren't they so cute? They're little butt hangers. Anyway, now I need to put something on the sign. So I'm going to go back into design space. I'm going to type Wiggle Your Tails, and I'm going to use a font called letter T. And I'm just going to go ahead and do everything I did before, send it to the machine. I'm going to be using the Smart Removable Vinyl, and I'm going to load the machine just like I did before. And when it flashes, I'll push that button, and it will check to make sure I have enough material, which I do because I did measure it out. It does tell you, so there's no guessing. And now it's going to cut, and that's going to go on the two little plank sign that I made. And now it's all done, and I've already cut it and weeded it, and now it's on the transfer tape, and I'm applying it right to my little planks, and it's coming off very nicely. And now I'm going to use some E6000, and I'm going to position each of the little doggy butt hangers. I am loving how this turned out. You know, without the Cricut, I don't think I could have made something that looks so high-end, and I absolutely love it, and my dogs got really excited too. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a part of a spring collaboration with these talented friends of mine. It's hosted by Liana DIY, and we have two special guests this month, Corey from Crafted by Corey and Sandra from DIYs at the Schwowen's Nest. If you aren't already familiar with these three channels, I highly recommend that you go and check them out. I will put their links below. I'll have a link to the playlist in my description box, as well as pinned to the top comment. Be sure to click on the playlist. I know you will get tons of spring inspiration. If you are coming from one of the other channels, welcome. I am very happy to meet you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Now, back to the spring DIYs.
Excuse me, but how is this for us?
Keeping with my spring theme, but also keeping in mind my pets, I am making this gorgeous spring door hanger that acknowledges my pets. I've got this little wood round from the Target Dollar Spot. I'm going to actually use a different burlap than the one you see there, and also some other buffalo check ribbon and florals from the Dollar Tree. I'm using my burnt umber apple barrel paint. I'm going to mix it with a little water to make a stain. I'm going to take some painter's tape, and I'm going to tape off a top section and a bottom section, protecting the middle for something else. I'm just going to use a foam brush to apply my homemade stain, wipe the excess off. I'm going to do it 3 times till I get the right color. I don't want it too dark, but I also don't want it too light. When I'm happy with the color of the stain, I'm going to remove the tape and then reposition it, because I'm going to paint that center area with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to do several coats. I'm just going to kind of dab it around the tape because I don't want it to bleed. And then I'm going to do the sides also where the white is. And now I love that. Removing the tape, it's so satisfying. Perfect straight lines. Gotta love it. Next, I'm going to take my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to lightly sand over the white because I want it to be smooth, and then I'm going to put a top coat of my polyacrylic protective finish. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my hanger on there. I'm using a little bit of a thicker twine than was on there before, and I'm going to put the knots in the front. And I'm using my bow maker. I don't really need to for this, but because I'm just making loops back and forth, but I'm going to do 3 different sizes, so I wanted to move the pegs in order to give me those 3 sizes very quickly and easily. So that's all. And once I have all of them, I'm just going to make a little slit on each side, and then I'm going to tie some twine around the center, and then I'm going to tie them all together and start fluffing my bow. I'll be the first to tell you that I am not an expert at bow making, but I am learning more and more, so I'll just do my very best. That's all I can do. I'm going to dovetail all of the ends where you just fold it in half and then cut from the bottom going upward, and you get a really cute little tuxedo tail. And then I'm going to take some cardboard. I'm using a little tumbling tower block as a guide to draw a little dog bone. And then I'm going to just cut out like 4 pieces of cardboard that fit the middle of the bone just to make it thicker. I'm going to hot glue them together and then to paint it with the Warm Buff color by Apple Barrel, and just take my jot marker and write the word dogs. And for the O, I'm going to make a little pot. I'm going to use Mod Podge over the top of that, and then I'm going to write on it. That's going to go right in the center of my bow, and that's how I'm going to hot glue it right there. And I just thought that would be so cute on this. To attach the bow to the wood round, I'm just going to pick it up. I've already got it positioned. I'm going to put hot glue under various places just to hold it down, and that's going to work just perfect. I can also put the little loops wherever I want them by doing that, and that holds them perfectly. I'm going to take my greenery from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to snip off the little stems. That way I can place them wherever I want around the top portion of this wood round. You see I've just got them set in there. Once I have them where I want them, I'm going to put hot glue on the ends and then stick them in, push it down and make sure that it adheres. And there it is. I love the way that looks. We're going to go back into Design Space, and I typed Home Sweet Home. I chose the Annie Lou font, and then I got these little paws. I found them by searching paw prints under images, and I put them for the O's in both the words home using Smart Permanent Vinyl. I had cut them out, weeded them, and placed them on the transfer tape. Now I am transferring them to the middle of the wood round. It came out so cute. And yes, I noticed that the little piece of the paw was missing after I put it on there, so I went and found it on the vinyl that I had weeded out. And by the way, no paws were injured in the making of this video. And I fixed it. Thank God I found it, or else I would have had to reprint it. That was my bad. And I like to save my transfer tape and use it a couple of times, so there I am putting it back on the backing, and I'll save that for another time. I love this one, and it was so simple to make using my Cricut. I hope you guys like it too. Again, if you're not subscribed, but if you want to, it's free. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and definitely please hit the like button, because that helps YouTube know that more people should see my videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Somebody say treats. Count me in.
I have this empty plastic jar. I'm just going to clean off the outside with some rubbing alcohol to make sure that my stencil vinyl will stick. I'm going to use my Cricut, and I'm going to cut out 2 paw prints, and I found the paw prints in Design Space when I looked under images. And now I'm just going to go ahead and pull that off of the mat, and I'm going to cut out the 2 paw prints. What I'm going to do is put the transfer tape over the Oz, and I am going to put them on the little jar, one on each side, and then I'm going to paint it with them on there, and then I'm going to take them off, so it's like a reverse stencil, I guess, and then you'll just see the paw prints as little windows for my little dog treat canister, and I just think it's so cute. I'm going to take my canister outside, and first I'm going to spray a white primer on it. Then I'm going to spray this kind of like galvanized silver color on it, and then I'm going to put a little bit of a coat of clear over it. And this is how it turned out. Super cute. And I've got this little knob. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. And then I have this little piece of buffalo check paper that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to just trace around the top of the cap, and I'm going to cut a circle, and then it'll fit right on top, and I'm going to use some Mod Podge and attach it, and just make sure that that's on there really nice, because I think that'll be super cute. Next, I'm going to take this ribbon. I have had this for years. I have no idea where I got it, but it's little paw prints. How perfect. I'm just going to hot glue it all the way around the edge of the top of the lid. And then I'm going to add some Mod Podge over the paper now that the other Mod Podge has dried. And I'm going to use this Folk Art brushed metal silver paint. I'm going to paint that little knob. I want it to look like it's also metal. And I'm going to use some E6000 and a little drop of hot glue, and I'm going to attach it right in the center. And it's not functional, but it's cute, and I just think it makes it look a little bit fancier. Next, I'm going to take that paw print ribbon, because I guess I can't get enough of it, and I added one little piece around the bottom as trim with hot glue. And then off camera, I put some twine around each side of that. I just thought that was super, super cute. And then I'm going to take this twine and I'm going to put it around the rivets where the little lid screws on, but not to the point where you can't screw it on. And I just think this is turning out adorable. Talk about like a trash to treasure. And I just love that little paw print. It's so cute. And the Cricut made that possible for me.
we look like we want to wipe our paws? Really?
I have this blessed doormat from the Dollar Tree, and I really don't want the words on it, so I'm trying to sand them off. That didn't work. So I figured I'm going to start dabbing with some steel chalk paint by Waverly. That didn't fully do it, so now I am whitewashing it. I'm happy with that. In Cricut Design Space, I'm going to select the shape of a square and I'm going to drag it to a rectangle to the dimensions of the doormat. I'm going to type "Please wipe your paws." The font is called letter T, and find some paws in images. I'm going to use some stencil vinyl. Now, unfortunately, they don't have the smart vinyl yet for this, so I had to kind of put two mats together and use a lot of stencil vinyl, but I'm hoping that they have that someday. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach it to the mats, make sure it's adhered very well using my brayer, and then I'm going to make sure I cut off the excess. And then I had the Cricut cut out what I'd put in Design Space. I reverse weeded it so that I would have a stencil. And then rather than putting transfer tape over the entire thing, I just put it over the letters that had little centers because I need those for the stencil. And you can see here I'm very carefully unrolling it onto the mat, repositioning it, making sure it looks good. I'm going to use this black acrylic apple barrel paint and a little dabber from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to start dabbing on the black paint, and I'm going to cut out a piece here so I can see how it's doing, and it looks great. I'm going to go ahead and use my heat tool from Amazon and dry it. I'm going to finish painting the rest. I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to put a clear glaze over the top to seal it. And I love this, you guys. I'm so glad I had the Cricut to do this. It was so easy.
I hope you give my mommy's video a like. It was really fun.
And now for one last look at all 4 of my adorable spring animal DIYs. They're so much fun. It just makes you want to go out with the dogs. And now that the weather's going to be nice, and look at the pretty door hanger, I'm so excited. Anyway, I just wanted to thank Cricut so much for sponsoring this video. I really love how using a Cricut makes my life easier, and it helps me create some really awesome things. Also, don't forget the playlist down in my description box below. You will love all the spring inspiration. So much talent in one playlist. Are you ready for spring? I am. Thank you so much for watching. That means a lot to me. And I do want you to know that you are truly a blessing to me. If you like this video, a couple other videos up here that I think you'll really like. So click on one of those next, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Bye. See you next time.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.